Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Fashion Business Unfiltered. This is episode number 10, our final episode of the series. We'll be back in the fall of 2026. I am Angie Cornacchio, Scene and Style, your local fashion writer. Belgioco Media, making moves within the photography scene, which is super exciting, covering lots of Boston legacy lately. Got their first win, nod to the ladies. All right, so episode 10 today, turning a fashion brand into a real business. We have touched on this a lot throughout the series, and I'm super excited to kind of end here because one thing that my fabulous intern Katie kind of touched on that I asked her to was burnout. By the time you get to a real business, you've taken a beating. So we're going to kind of go over a little bit of that. So today's sponsor is Wix.com. Super excited. Got a notification today of some more revenue made through building websites. So that is really great and super exciting because as I help someone else build their business, I make a buck too. Life is good. Outfit today. We are living the three-stripe football lifestyle. Clearly with some good boots though. Very Yolanda Salucci inspired, by the way. It is time, folks. The World Cup is headed to Boston. We are a host city, and I'm giving a little nod to my Audi life based on I'm rushing right down to Boylston Street after this to slave away for the next 2 days at the Dick's House of Sport and install all the fabulous gear that you can go get to support your country. Super excited to be living a three-stripe lifestyle. I know I'm going to be working my butt off, but hey, I'm also going to be staying the night in downtown, so little mini vacay. Okay. Excuse me. Events. Cannot wait. Super excited for May 23rd, Mass Fashion Week, people. Plymouth, she has a monster location, so you better get your tickets because, again, you do not want FOMO. Megan always puts on a good show. May 21st, Performer.com and the Boston Fashion Awards crew is going to be back live at the Fashionably Late at the Liberty Hotel, so be sure to check in and stop by. Also, June 16th, my little Denise is home. June 16th, Denise Sajar, Eat, Drink, Model. Right on the boardwalk in the Marina Bay. Gorgeous show. It's a charity show, the Woodward School for Girls out in Quincy. Such a great inspiration and you need to really look into those ladies. They are super cool. It's a great home for these girls. It gives them a place to explore, display, and some of them will be modeling as always. And then June 28th, God, I hope we're wearing swimsuits by then. Swim Boston, guys. Swim Boston is back at the Boston Harbor Distillery. So tickets will be available for that soon. That's super exciting. Oh, and as we come to a close with this season, fall 2026, as we come to a close of this season, we say goodbye to my intern, Katie, from Suffolk University, who has officially contacted me and said she's going to grad school in New York, and if I could find her a job, that would be great. I'm working on it, Katie. But Katie, thank you so much because she does all the research for all of these episodes. So much appreciated. I love that you learned a few things along the way, and we wish you well on your fashionable journey in the Big Apple. Again, episode 10 here. So fall 2026, tune in, guys. I will be very transparent about the day and the time. Have not decided that yet, or if it's rotating based on the fact we're going to be in fall fashion season. So I would love to be having guests around certain shows. We can really focal on certain things, and there will be worldly fashion weeks we will be attending. Cannot wait to announce that. So let's hop right into it. Episode 10, turning a fashion brand into a real business. Thanks, Katie. Gonna miss you. Okay, so a fashion business really is more than just selling clothes, or a bag, or a pair of shoes, or fabulous boots. There are multiple revenue streams if you're going to be a successful fashion business. So one thing, it's called one-off revenue. Money earned while customers pay for products and services. That is one-off revenue. More common for businesses selling occasionally, like seasonal items type situation. Reoccurring revenue. Everyone thinks revenue is revenue is revenue. No. One-off revenue, we just went over. Reoccurring revenue is what we should all shoot for, the stars. Reoccurring revenue, customers pay regular fees or maybe even a subscription and monthly fees. So are they a subscriber to your t-shirt business and they need new t-shirts once a month? That's reoccurring revenue. That's a revenue that is guaranteed because they have subscribed to it. All right, wholesale distribution, offering fashion prices to retailers and boutiques at discounted prices. So if you were to sell it on your website, per se, for $90, you're selling it to a Macy's. I believe this is all going to come back to our lives, so pay attention. You would sell it to Macy's for $60. And unfortunately, when you do something like that, your profit margin goes way down, but also you're doing it to get your brand exposure. This is how, again, multiple revenue streams. Yes, you sell it on your website, but you're also in Macy's. Or BOGO Split. How about we go to BOGO Split? All right. Take your garments to BOGO Split. They are in the Copley Plaza. They are a showroom for local designers. They are fabulous. We have so many people there. One of our favorites, Lala B, Melina. We have Jeannie in there. We have Money Mav. We have so many. I didn't even know Joe Maleka was still in there. Joe, love you. They are all right at the Copley Plaza. So go check them out. And if you're an emerging designer, check them out. Getting in there. Jeannie is probably the last person that I know of, Art from the Heart, to go into BOGO Split. And now, off from her website, she's now in a retail location. So that's a big deal. Multiple revenue streams. Private and white labeling. So this is when you form a partnership and create clothing lines for other brands or retailers. That means one thing, it's on the list of to do. I have had it in my mind since I was probably about 8. I want to design a collection for Adidas. I am not your average shaped, super skinny model like, I don't know, a Marlena Garcia. Sorry, I don't have that bod. So sometimes their stuff doesn't fit me right, and I've always had a vision that I want to design a collection for them that fits more of an athletic profile, because on the other hand, I'm super tall. I'm Italian. I got curves. It's tough. All right, so fashion shows. We have dipped into the fashion shows multiple times in this series. I am a big believer in a fashion show if you have a focal point of what you're getting out of it. It should be a revenue stream. So with that being said, fashion shows sets brands apart and establishes you as a trendsetter and catches attentions of competitors and consumers. So that's where you do got to be careful, is when you put yourself out there like that, you could get knocked off. However, if you're fabulous, you're fabulous. Pop-up shows. This is something that's really starting to even be more of a trend, because retail can be tough. It can certainly be tough. However, if you do a pop-up, you can just be there. You can pay a small fee. You can be there for 5 to 7 hours. It could be events. It could be an actual, like somewhere in the mall, like one of those little carts that they used to have. It creates a sense of urgency and excitement and draws like loyal customers in, because if they know, Patty Silver does this. Patty will go and have pop-ups all over the city every once in a while. Even though she has an actual brick and mortar location, she'll go do a pop-up and her fans will follow her, because maybe it's not easy for them to get to Wellesley, but they can get down to Newbury Street. They're like, oh my God, Patty's on Newbury Street on Saturday. I'm going to go see her. And then they purchase your goods. Okay, so down to the money grub of the situation. We all want to make money, people. I had this conversation the other day about photos. I was in the middle of a meeting and 2 people are talking about, well, should you sell the photos after if a model was in a show, the photographer gave what they were supposed to give to the show, and then a model contacted them afterwards for more. Should that photographer charge the model for the photos? Absolutely. They have already fulfilled their contract with the show. The model has gotten what they were supposed to from the show. And if they want to do business further on, Guys, we all got to start making money here. Like, we can't be giving everything away for free. We're all creatives. You have to put a price tag on what you're worth. Okay, so average time to profitability. Like I said, we got to stop giving our stuff away for free. But with that being said, have you earned the right to stop giving your stuff away for portfolio purposes? Okay, so it takes most startups 6 to 18 months to even break even. So you have to remember, if you're actually creating a fashion brand, a large scale business brand, no, you are not going to be profitable right away. Sometimes when I do my t-shirt sales, yeah, I'm profitable because you can buy it online and it's a print on demand type situation. You have to decide which aspect of the business you are in. No, I am not Valentino yet. Okay, so this depends on their initial investment. Marketing success and customer demand. So those are the three things that will determine your 6 to 18 months to break even. Startups can make $10,000 to $100,000. Small brands can make $50,000 to $250,000 a year, and mid to large brands can make up to the millions. This success depends on the product, demand, pricing, and scalability. Pricing, yes, just because it's $800 doesn't mean it's going to scale. Maybe it's only worth $50 and you need to accept that, and then you've sold millions. Okay, so this is where you have to have thick skin. You have to have thick skin because it's tough in this business. It's tough in any business. Around 80% of new fashion brands fail within the first 5 years. It's tough. You really got to stay resilient in these types of situations. 98% of clothing startups fail within the first few years. Now, the difference between fashion brand and clothing startup, a clothing startup is something simple, like a t-shirt collection. A brand is something you have put lots of money behind and are creating the proper steps, and we've discussed it in one of the last episodes, proper steps in building your brand. That is a brand. A clothing startup is a couple of t-shirts. 10% of clothing startups can survive long term, but only 2 to 3% actually survive. So survive long term means you made it 10 years. Survive period means you went to the grave with your brand still in stores. Okay, so this is where I think it's super important that we get to, because a lot of us, especially with everything going on in the world right now, I mean, the wars, the gas prices, rents, everybody has things to worry about and things can be super stressful. Yes, we are creators. We love our creativity, our energy that we get to put into it, our own touch. But we're talking about business, and you have to be mindful of the steps you're taking to create your business, and one of them must be self-care. You have to take care of yourself. Like, I'm a little off right now based on, my window's open, I'm still kind of sweating, I'm not gonna lie. I had no time this morning because I packed to go to my Adidas thing for later tonight. However, I had to work out. I am still a player. I'm a baller. I had no time to work out, but I made the time. I told myself, screw it. I am figuring this out. I went to the gym for the amount I could. Something is better than nothing. Take care of yourself every single day in some sort of aspect that makes you feel at peace and makes you feel rejuvenated and fresh and able to take on the business day. Okay, so founder burnout statistics. 54% of founders have reported experiencing burnout. That's not a surprise. This is a tough business. 46% startup founders say their mental health was actually bad through creating their business. 75% of startup founders have reported feeling extremely anxious on a daily basis, and they did have to seek help, which is important. So 49% say their mental health issues are linked to their work-life balance. I'm surprised it's not 99%. 37% said they want to leave or at least take a break from their startup. And that's the point. At 37% of those people, they have to take a step back and say, what am I not doing for myself to be able to continue forward? Because there is no taking a break. There are no days off. You have to mentally make sure that you are taking care of yourself on a daily basis so you don't become the 37% of people that say, I can't do this anymore. Because then you're just done. You can't, I'm sorry, like as an athlete, as a business owner, there are no days off. If you have to take some time off, great. But you have to answer an email every day. You have to do something. So what is it you're doing to put yourself in the right mental aspect to be able to at least answer those emails, upload some stuff? Like I had to do some website work today and I didn't have time for it. And I had to make time for my mental space as well. I have to. All right. So brands. Oh, pivoting. Okay. So once you get to a point of where you are, okay, this isn't, I'm not seeing scale. I'm not seeing profitability. You know, what do I have to do to make this business brand, this fashion brand, a real business? What do I need to do? Sometimes you have to pivot. Not everything you start out with is the key. Like, again, we speak about Shark Tank often here. When you are in a business, you have to look at the business aspect. Just because you love this amazing floral, absurdly neon trend that you created, well, is it selling? It might not be. You have to pivot sometimes in your business to stay alive. Okay, so Katie did a little research on brands that successfully pivoted. So Tana Taylor, known for bright clothes and various textures, created for the joy of dressing up. The brand created 30,000 masks with leftover scraps to donate to Canada and New York hospitals. From there, Taylor began putting her signature print on cotton lounge-friendly clothing. The pivot helped her brand diversify. So she went from creating masks to then pivoting into actually putting the whole kind of mask that she would create as more of like a logo on t-shirts, on pants. And her brand blew from there. She never made masks again. Okay, so Love Shack Fancy. Founder Rebecca Hassel-Cohen has been designing dreamy and floral fashions lines since 2013. At the height of the pandemic, she decided to create loungewear that was both cute and comfortable. As the pandemic stretched on, Cohen launched various partnerships, activewear, beach riot, silk pajamas, and robes with Morgan Lane. That's a very well-known brand. And loungewear and intimate stripes were born. Cohen says, "It was important to me that all of our customers feel just as beautiful and feminine sweatpants as they do our dresses. The new clothing lines were the top seller during 2021. So basically, she was a high-end dress designer. What are you doing come COVID with all these dresses? And now she is in the $1 billion range selling comfy clothing versus the dresses. Sometimes you just got to pivot, and it went with it. I like this one. This is cute. Another COVID-19 pandemic pivot. Well, we all had to pivot, and some of these brands are now just extremely popular from their actual pivot. Granted, it was forced, but they pivoted. A lot of people just took a step back and said, I quit, I'm done. But Amanda Turquesa, a Portuguese brand known for pom-pom sandals and pearl bags for special events, noticed a decline in sales during COVID-19. Clearly, her bag were for special events. Founder Carolina Santos and her mother created the idea for Pinacata. They were Shirley Mule sandals that launched in October of 2020. The sandals were made to be worn around the house. They were like cute, comfy sandals. They were warm and fluffy with a bedazzled strap. Within 2 months, she sold over 100,000 sandals worldwide, and continues to grow her brand year over year over year. That is how you would build a fashion brand. Those are some of the basics, some of the touch points, some of the little tidbits that you can get. And there we are. I can't believe it. 10 episodes in the Fashion Business Unfiltered. We will return in fall of 2026. I will be sure to be transparent with getting the information out as to when and what days. But like I said, I'm really focused on having multiple guests throughout the season and educate you on their aspects of the business. We can pick them apart as we love to do because they're all fabulous here in the city of Boston. So for now, people, enjoy your summer, shop local, and ciao, ciao.